Alexandria, California. I breed blondinets in black, dun, red, yellow, brown, and khaki. I've been in pigeons for I don't know how many years. 22 years in long-faced clean-layed tumblers and probably 1998 in Oriental frills. I got my start. I got a cockbird from Bill Fobian, and I got a hen from Vicky Casey, and that basically started my stud, and from there I progressed to where I am now. I think much attention should be put on the structure of the frill, not just the color, but the head, the width of head over the wattle, all the way back, plus rollover in the front, beak tucked in, and I think then you have a very good frill and not just a nice, pretty bird. Go ahead.
My name is Martha Jett. I'm from Litchfield, Illinois. I breed satinets, bonnets. I've been in the frills probably 21 years. I'm secretary of the COFC, and
What do you raise for colors?
all of them. I raise all the colors.
Yeah.
My name is Dale Jett, and we live in Litchfield, Illinois, a little town in south central Illinois. And I've bred pigeons ever since I was a little kid, maybe 10, 12 years old, and my uncle got me started in them. And one of the breeds that he had was Oriental frills. And when I was just a young boy, about 14, I called a guy up in St. Louis, and he had Oriental frills listed in a magazine. And his name was James Conway. I went down there and visited him, and I bought a pair of satinets. And James Conway later became the secretary-treasurer of the American Oriental Frill Club, and was also the mayor of St. Louis. And it was quite a treat to meet him later in years when we'd have a big show in St. Louis, and he'd come down and judge it. And he'd bring his bodyguards down, of course, and he was a real gentleman. And I still remember him, and I still appreciate the birds that I got from him. And he bred mostly satinets, had a lot of satinets. This bird right here is a blue white-barred blondinet, which is a color pattern of an Oriental frill. The whole bird is colored. They have spot tails. And they have beautiful spots in their wings. You can see them from underneath on top. And they have two beautiful white bars in them. This bird here is just a young cock bird, even though it's entered as a hen. I don't know how that happened, but it is a cock bird. It's not real powerful, but it's a breeding bird. You know, it's just a promising stock bird in a way, but could produce some really nice pigeons. It would depend on what you put it on. You need a hen with a little more tuck under on it. And it's a beautiful bird. I've bred Oriental frills, like I say, most of my life. And in the last 3 or 4 years, I've decided, I'll be the lock manager for my wife. And she's interested in them, and she'll breed them. My good friend here, Ron Bordy, he kind of got me interested in ballhead tumblers. And I do breed turbits. This year I made master breeder in turbits, which is an accomplishment that I've been trying to get for the last 10 years. And now I'd like to work on ballhead tumblers, and I like what I call the hard breeds, tough breeds, short face, got to have feeders. Anything can go wrong, it will, but you just have to persevere. If you love the birds, which I do, it's just something that I'll have Oriental frills and pigeons until I die. That's the way I feel. It's just a real joy for me to raise them and breed them. And this club right here, we show here in Louisville, this is the Central Oriental Frill Club. and they've been in existence since 1963. This will be our 49th year. I've made a lot of friends over the years, attended a lot of shows. I think the first show here in Louisville that the Central showed in was in 1971. And I've basically been here just about every year. There was a few years when I was in the service, a few years when I was out of state that I couldn't get down here and show. And it's just a lot of good memories, a lot of good people. I remember some of the old master breeders like Henry Schmall, Jim Rice, Grant Daniels. These guys, they had an influence on me, and they were gentlemen. They were true gentlemen in every way. They would just go out of their way to help a young guy. If you showed interest in pigeons or oriental frills, they would go out of their way to help you with birds and breeding tips and things like that. You know, Henry Schmall, he passed away about a year or so ago. He was 99 when he passed away. And Jim Rice, I think he was 99 when he passed away last year. We had some of the breeders on the East Coast. Joe Liska was another one of the breeders that had an impact on my life. He was a fierce competitor, and he made you aware of a lot of things in the hobby. And it's just, I don't know, over the years, these people, they pass on and they go away, and you miss them, you know. And you just would like this to go on forever, you know. You go out and visit with people like Ron Bordy. It's just a wonderful experience. I would recommend anyone that wanted to breed a challenging, beautiful pigeon join the Central Oriental Frill Club. We're on the internet. We're in Purebred Pigeon magazine, and it's just right here is a list of a lot of our master breeders over the years, where they have shown in exhibition and attained a pinnacle of success of becoming a master breeder by attaining 100 points. And if you work really hard and you show and you breed for a whole year, if you're lucky, you can get 16 points. So you can see it's a lifetime achievement. It's not something that you just go out and bang, it's there. There's a lot of breeders that I think deserve recognition, that have been in the hobby a long time, that should be recognized for what they do, even though they haven't got a lot of points that other people have. It's just one of those things that we need to look at and I think take care of these people. It's good for the hobby. It's good for the club. And there's also an aspect in the hobby that's got kind of an ugly side to it sometimes. It's political. A lot of politics involved in the clubs. I think it's just a detriment to the hobby, and I hate to see that kind of stuff going on. But hopefully that stuff goes away. People can forgive and forget a lot of different things, you know? And we just need to all stick together and enjoy our hobby. It's something that a lot of people don't have, and you get a lot of satisfaction from breeding birds and all the friends you make. I've got friends all over the world. I've had people come and visit me from Australia, France, Germany, Belgium. I have friends in England, Scotland, a lot of friends in Canada. It's just a wonderful experience. That's about all I can say about it.
You guys have anything to say about the current clubs you belong to?
Yeah, I'd like to say the Central Oriental Frill Club probably puts on one of the best shows here at Louisville. I know I was asked, I go to various shows, and I was asked if you could only go to one show. I said it would be Louisville. I enjoy this show the best of all. I want to just get to the point of breeding. I think that you don't have to have a lot of birds to be successful. You can have maybe, and like myself, I have probably 7 cockbirds, but extra hens. I do some multiple matings. I let the cock and the hen, when the hen lays the second egg, she's removed. I wait a day. I introduce another hen to the cockbird. When she lays her second egg, she's removed. The original hen comes back, and so on. This is what I found works for me as far as getting brother, sister, half brothers, half sisters, and good birds. That's basically what I have to say.
Do you guys have anything else to say about the pigeon hobby regarding any other clubs or anything?
You go to these shows and people come in. We get people come in and they don't raise pigeons. They're curious. They come in, they go walk through all the birds. They look at all the birds and they know they are. And invariably they'll come by the Oriental frill section and they always stop. I mean, they stop and they back up. They look at this bird. They're like, oh my God, look at this pigeon. You know, what kind of bird is that? And there's always somebody, oh, it's an Oriental frill. And it has stencil, it has lacing. It's just a genetic factor that brings out the absolute beauty in the featheration of the bird, and it laces the outer edge of the feathers. And the bird also has a frill on its chest. It's fluffy and white, pretty, and it has a needlepoint beak. It has a big mane on its back, comes up on its neck, and it's a short-faced bird which kind of projects a lot of power into the bird. And these people, they like these pigeons. They always want to get a pair. They want to buy a pair. And when they would talk to me, I would always inform them that they had to have feeders, foster feeders, racing homers. A bird that's a long-faced bird, like a racing homer, that'll feed a short-faced bird. And they seem perplexed, you know. And sometimes they would buy a pair of frills, and then they would have to go get a pair of feeders. And so they're raising 2 pair to produce what they want. Well, here, 8, 9, 10 years ago, the classical frills reappeared. They've been around this country for years, but no one really promoted them or bred them. But everybody liked them. And there's a few guys in the Midwest and the East Coast and a few on the West Coast. They started playing with these pigeons. They call them classical frills. And it's an Oriental frill. It has everything that a modern frill has, but they can feed their own young. They're a short, fairly sharp beaked bird, but they have a long enough beak to feed their own babies, and they become immensely popular. And they got the stencil. They got them in satinets and blondinets, the 2 color patterns, and they have just boomed. And their club is growing like wildfire. You know? It's a very popular bird. And where this is going to go with the modern frill, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are die-hard. I think we'd call them purists. They're a pure Oriental frill breeder, and they breed the bird for the power, the bull power of the pigeon. And that appeals to a lot of people. And it's just a different breed, but they're very similar. And we'd like to get guys to breed a longer face frill to take up the challenge of breeding that bull-faced bird, that bull-faced pigeon with the power on it. So, I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. And we would just like to invite all of them to stop by the Central Oriental Frill Club and look at the birds with the bulldog face, with the power on them.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else you might want to mention about the Oriental frill? Is that all, or?
You meet a lot of friends with the clubs. You really do. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I like to add the camaraderie is amazing in the frill breed. you always have a couple, like in any breed, but the majority of the frill breeders are
It's amazing.
help each other and support each other. That's basically what I'd say.
Okay. Okay.
We get the job.
Yeah. Thank you.